The path you have taken has no return. Just let that sink in for a second. It's a chilling warning, isn't it? Well, welcome back, everyone. Today, we're unpacking a fascinating, honestly deeply unsettling narrative from the dark lore of the Hakini. We're going to break down the exact mechanics of a supernatural contract, a terrifying deal made in the shadows that perfectly illustrates the ultimate devastating cost of unbridled greed. Okay, let's just dive right into this.
So, welcome to Hakini 2, Anatomy of a Curse. In this explainer, we're basically examining a morality tale that's wrapped up inside a horror story. We're going to look at the exact mechanics of a demonic pact made by a man named Aarav. We'll trace the fine print, the literal terms and conditions of his contract with a dark entity known as a Hakini. We'll see the immediate fallout of his choices, and finally, the horrifying, inescapable loop he gets trapped in. It's kind of like a masterclass in why you should absolutely always read the supernatural terms and conditions.
All right, part 1, the terrifying deal. Okay, so everything here starts with pure desperation. We've got Aarav. He is completely drowning in debt, and he's preparing for a horrific ritual guided by this mysterious beggar. Now, these aren't your typical everyday occult ingredients. This ritual absolutely must take place on an Amavasya night, a pitch-black, entirely moonless night. And it has to happen right under a neem tree at a cremation ground. But here is where Aarav officially crosses the point of no return. The ritual requires the fresh blood and flesh of a dead young woman. And in this incredibly twisted stroke of fate, Aarav's own girlfriend, Sheetal, actually dies in an accident right in front of him. But instead of, mourning her like a normal person, his greed completely takes over. He literally uses her severed finger and her blood to complete his dark summons. I mean, it shows exactly how far his humanity has already eroded before the entity even shows up.
And then the Hakini manifests. She steps right out from the cremation smoke, and she's got these glowing red eyes, completely draped in a blood-soaked white sari. Her very presence just screams that Aarav's destruction has already begun. But the crazy part, she looks at him and she's actually smiling. She notes that, hey, it's been a really long time since someone actually summoned her using the correct, gruesome methods.
So naturally, the Hakini asks what he wants. And Aarav? He doesn't just ask to clear his debts. Oh no, he demands wealth, literally lots of wealth, and unmatched power. He asks for absolute luxury, a life where he lacks absolutely nothing, and power that literally no one else possesses. He is completely blinded by this illusion of a perfect life, entirely unaware of the massive trap he is walking directly into. Which brings us to part 2, the Hakini's conditions. The entity actually laughs, and she agrees to give him everything he desires. But she lays out a very specific, totally horrific supernatural contract. Let's look at the Hakini's rule of 3. Rule number 1, he can never have physical relations with a woman. Rule 2, he can never claim rights over a woman. So no love, no marriage, no relationships whatsoever. And rule 3, this is the most devastating one of all. He can never help anyone, not a friend, not a total stranger, not even a dying person. Do you see the pattern here? The entity isn't just giving him money. She is systematically isolating him from all human connection, all empathy, all love. She's stripping away his humanity condition by condition. And Rob, just totally blinded by greed, blindly nods and says yes.
But there's always a final hidden clause, right? The Hakini leans in and tells him, "From now on, your soul is mine." Aarav just says, "I accept." Suddenly, the neem tree violently shakes, flames shoot up into the air, and she tells him his fate is totally sealed. He's going to be rich, but there is absolutely no turning back now.
Let's move to part 3, the price of wealth. So Aarav runs home, right? His heart is full of joy. He thinks his life has finally changed for the better. He expects to see his mother and sister totally ready to celebrate this amazing new life. But the immediate reality of his wish is horrific. On one hand, yes, his dilapidated old house is gone. It's been instantly replaced by this massive, super luxurious mansion filled with expensive furniture and blinding lights. But on the other hand, when he calls out for his mom and sister, he is met with dead silence. He walks into the main hall and sees 2 large, garlanded photographs on the wall, one of his mother, one of his sister. They're dead. Suddenly, the Hakini's voice echoes in his mind, reminding him of rules 1 and 2. He can never live with women. So, to fulfill his wish for a mansion and keep the contract intact, the Hakini simply eliminated his family. He has everything he asked for, but he actually has absolutely nothing. Months pass by. Aarav is living in this sprawling mansion with all the cars and servants you could ever want. But there's this eerie, suffocating emptiness haunting the house. And then comes the ultimate trial of his contract, the empathy test. There's a knock at the door. And who is it? It's Rohit. Now remember Rohit? He's a former friend who actually ran off with Aarav's girlfriend in the past. But today, Rohit is standing there in dirty clothes, completely broken, literally begging for money because his own mother is dying and desperately needs an operation.
So what does he do? Does he break the rule and show a little mercy? Nope. He looks right at Rohit and says, "Get out of here. Let her die." He throws Rohit's past betrayal right back in his face, violently kicks him out and slams the door shut. And in that exact moment, Aarav feels a cold touch on his shoulder. It's the Hakini. And she actually praises him. She tells him, "Well done. You get my condition. You didn't help anyone. Keep obeying, and your wealth will keep growing." Aarav enforced that third rule perfectly. But deep inside, he feels the very last shred of his humanity just completely shatter. And this rejection actually accelerates his physical decay. Over the first 3 months, he eats the most expensive food in the world, but he tastes literally nothing. He drinks alcohol but feels no intoxication whatsoever. Wind, rain, cold water, he can't feel any of it. His body is technically alive, but his spirit is dead. Then we hit month 4, the night attack. He wakes up suffocating in his pitch-dark bedroom to find the Hakini's terrifying face just inches from his. Her red eyes are glowing, and she's literally drinking blood straight from his neck. Terrified, bleeding, and incredibly weak, he runs out of his mansion, fleeing into the night until his legs finally just give out. He collapses on the street, passing out to the sound of her haunting laughter.
Which brings us to our final chapter, Part 4, The Endless Cycle.
When Aarav wakes up the next morning, the sun is shining. But believe me, the nightmare is far from over. He's sitting under an old tree, and right next to him is a man. A totally normal-looking man in clean clothes with a really calm face. Aarav is desperate, begging him for help, crying that he just wants to be free of the Hakini, that he doesn't even want the wealth anymore. And then comes the shocking reveal. Aarav recognizes the man. It's the mysterious beggar who originally taught him the dark ritual. Except, he's no longer in rags. He looks completely restored.
The former beggar just looks at Aarav and explains the grim reality of the Hakini's diet. See, she doesn't just drink blood. That's just the start. She consumes your soul, your physical hunger, your thirst, your joy. She literally feeds on your ability to experience human life. And in return, she just gives you the completely useless material wealth you asked for. But once you are completely hollowed out, once you literally have nothing left inside for her to feed on, you become utterly useless to her.
So, how did the beggar escape? Well, he hands Aarav a crumpled piece of paper, laying out the only escape clause. Aarav must leave all his wealth behind, go out into the world, find a new human being driven by greed, and offer them his cursed blood to summon the Hakini. The man then simply walks away, just vanishing into the morning fog. It turns out the only way to free yourself from this curse is to damn someone else in your place.
And this brings the whole story full circle. Aarav realizes the terrifying truth. The beggar was just the previous victim, who passed the curse directly to him. Now it's Aarav's turn. Step 1, just days later, the formerly wealthy Aarav is now sitting on the side of a foggy street, wearing rags hunched over. He has completely become the beggar. Step 2, he spots a desperate young girl walking down the street. She's crying, muttering to herself that her life is totally over, and she has absolutely nothing left. Step 3, Aarav calls out to her. He asks for money, pretending to be a helpless beggar. The girl stops, and Aarav looks deeply into her eyes and asks the fatal question. Are you in pain? Do you want a way out of this poverty? Which leaves us with the seriously chilling question. Will this desperate, crying girl be the Hakini's next victim? We literally watch Aarav seamlessly step into the role of the predator, perfectly ready to trap another desperate soul just to save himself. It brilliantly illustrates that the true horror isn't just a monster hiding in the dark. It's the endless, cyclical nature of human greed and the absolute extremes